One day, on your mind, three words were coming in, coming out, coming in, coming out. And those three words were Santiago de Compostela. One day, you said loudly to yourself, I will go to Santiago de Compostela. And one day, you bought a ticket to Sevilla. You've been thinking for a while which Camino to choose, and Via de la Plata and the Camino San Andres was the right thing for you to choose. You are in Sevilla. You applied for credential del Pellegrino. You filled up a form and you signed up. And once you signed up, you became the Pellegrino. Acabo de llegar a Sevilla in España. I just arrived to Sevilla in southwest of España. Tomorrow is my day of rest, and I will start my journey on Saturday, May 27th, 2017. I will walk Via de la Plata and Camino de San Andres. My plan is to walk from Sevilla to Santiago de Compostela, probably 1100 kilometers. I will cross regions of Andalusia, Extremadura, Castilla y León, and Galicia. Yes, I know this time of the year is not recommended by many pilgrims because temperature may reach 40 degrees or even exceed it. And considering this fact, I have to carry with me initially 4 liters of water, which will add 4 kilograms of weight to my 6.5 kilogram backpack. However, water is consumable item, and once I start with 4 kilograms, at the end of the day I will have 0 kilograms. Why I'm doing this? Perhaps I want to decouple myself from the everyday life routine, and also I want to decouple from public media, social media, and political pollutions which embraces us with its tightening grip. And of course I want to walk along across this part of Spain, very beautiful part of Spain. And besides, perhaps I want to improve the association of Camino de la Plata statistics, which tells that about 300 people or pilgrims walk this part of time in June and July. We'll see. Behind me is the Puente Isabel II, which I will walk tomorrow through it on my way to Guyena, first etapa. We'll see how it goes. I hope I will make it. One morning you are closing the door of an albergue or a hotel. You just moved your head up and you see sparkling stars, and you made your first step, and second, and third, and fourth. And it's absolutely quiet around. Sevilla is sleeping. No pedestrians, no cars, just night and you. You can hear sound of your steps. Those steps are not yet coordinated, but you walk. After an hour or two, you see on your right hand side the rising sun, great red ball of sun. You stopped, you look, you smile, and you turn north and you start to go step by step, and million more steps to get to Santiago. Italica, famous ruins of Roman city, which lies in the outskirts of Santi Ponce, 10 kilometers of Sevilla. Italica was founded in 206 BC by the victorious and successful Roman general Publius Cornelius Scipio, who settled his veteran army from the Second Punic War against Hannibal and Carthaginians. Italica is also the birthplace of three Roman emperors, Hadrian, Trajan, and probably Theodosius I. Italica Amphitheater has been built as the third largest amphitheater in the entire Roman Empire. It seated 25,000 spectators at that time. And interestingly, Italica had only 8,000 residents. So I guess it appears to me that they were sitting quite comfortably in this amphitheater. The Via de la Plata, or Camino Mozarbe, is by far the longest Camino de Santiago route, reaching 1,007 kilometers. The Via de la Plata crosses the entire Spain from Andalusia plains in the south to the Green Mountains of Galicia in the north. From the 9th century, this Camino route was traditionally taken by pilgrims from the south of Spain and by North African Christians on their way to Santiago de Compostela. It is believed that the name of Via de la Plata originates from the Latin word lapidata, meaning stone road, or possibly the Arabic word balata, meaning road. This road is the right choice for pilgrims seeking solitary contemplation, as well as sightseeing ventures and breathtaking views. Along the Via de la Plata, pilgrims may also visit one of the best preserved Roman sites in Europe, such as Italica, Merida, and Capara. On the road again. I'm on the way from Castiblanco de los Arroyos to Almaden de la Plata. First 16 kilometers is on the asphalt, on the road. But there is perhaps 3 more kilometers to the entry of the park, I think, Andalusia Park, which will lead to Almaden. Perhaps in the park there is 13 kilometers. Well, finally I am in the park. 16 kilometers on the highway, asphalt road is done, and now I have to go 13 kilometers through the park, which gonna be nice. Everywhere I see are cork trees, and that's quite interesting. Cloudy, that's good. I expected much higher temperature. I took 4 liters of water. Backpack is heavy, but it's gonna be good to use this 4 liters of water anyway. Today is quite heavy stretch, 30 kilometers. Still, it's like few hours to go, but let's do it. Keep going. I'm still in the Parque Natural Sierra Norte. There are cork trees, and inside are you can find many private farms raising Iberico pigs and sheep. That's a good ham from those Iberico pigs. I'm heading to El Real de Jara. Starting in magnificent Sevilla, you will be walking through Andalusia, Extremadura, and the south of Castilla y León regions. It is a land of open landscape with cork trees, olive trees, oak trees, almond trees, wild flowers and livestock. This sparsely populated farmland, with its arid climate, is home to the hottest and driest summers in Spain in June, July, and August. As you enter Extremadura, the land of the conquistadores, you will discover a rarely visited part of Spain, full of medieval churches and wonderful hamlets, pueblos, and small villages. It is a land of dry and gently hilly landscape and dehesas, used primarily for grazing, with its old streams dried up. It sometimes seems to be more inhabited by Iberico pigs, cows, sheep, and goats than by people. It is a land of beautiful vistas of crop fields, sunflowers, barley, oats, and vineyards spreading to the horizon, which add patches of color to the dominant red earth landscape. Walking through the long stretches in the summer
with little shade or no shade at all, and very dry air can sometimes be monotonous and very challenging. There are numerous etapas between villages, with walking distances around or exceeding 30 kilometers with no resupply of water or food and no albergues. A lot of water in your backpack is absolutely essential, and an umbrella helps to have your own private shade. Since I left Sevilla, the temperature was steadily increasing from 35 to 40 degrees in the first week of my walk in Andalusia. But after entering Extremadura, the intense heat with the temperature well above 45 degrees hovered for weeks. I heard from Extremeños that current high temperature in June have not been seen since 70 years. Today is June 1st, Thursday, and yesterday I entered Extremadura, and I'm walking second day as today from Monasterio to Fuente de Cantos. Extremadura seems to me is like extra temperatura. It's very hot, particularly after 1 p.m. It's extremely hot. So, based on lesson learned, I've started my walk 6 a.m. total dark. Walking at least for an hour is quite spooky. It's so dark, and problem is to find yellow arrows. Zafra's Plaza Grande and its little sister Plaza Chica are at the heart of town. As you see in early afternoon, restaurants are closed and empty tables and chairs are waiting for late afternoon tourists and residents. Quite picturesque scene. After 10 or 11 a.m., the sun turns out to be faceless, unrecognizable monster with thousands of sunbeams like tentacles of a giant octopus sticking to my body and sucking out all my energy, motivations, and neutralizing my mind. And as far as I can see, there are no towns, no villages, no pueblos, only the brassy shimmering heat rising up from the plains and the merciless sky without even a wisp of cloud. Well, umbrella helps. At least I have my own private shade. Yesterday, on the way from Fuente de Cantos to Zafra, I didn't take any footage. Even I did few pictures. It was very hot. The sun was blasting, and when I sat down to take a rest and thinking maybe I will talk to my camera, but the blasting sun simply evaporated my thoughts. So I did nothing yesterday. Today, on the way from Zafra to Villafranca de los Barros, I woke up 5:15 and was on the way since 20 to 6 a.m. So at least I will walk in 1 hour in the complete dark. But I get used to find yellow arrows. I'm careful at this time. And it allows me to walk more hours in cooler part of the day, because I have noticed in Extremadura since 10 o'clock, 10:15, the sun is incredibly strong, and it takes all your power to walk. It is really amazing how high temperature and no wind, no breeze makes you losing energy. Basically, I walk all the day myself, barely seeing somebody else. Albergues are almost empty. For 4 or 5 days I sleep in the albergue, in the room with many beds, but myself. So it tells you how not so many pilgrims are on the way to Santiago or to Salamanca.
Today is 27 kilometers. I'm on the way from Villafranca de los Barros to Teremejía. This stretch is so-called Roman road. It is really straight, no curves, no hills, just the road straight to the horizon. But I'm surprised walking through this part of Extremadura that the wine production is huge business up here, as well as olives. And as I walk today, since the morning, grapes are growing on my left and right hand side, and olives to the horizon line. I thought that La Rioja is only one of the major wine production region, but Extremadura is huge too.
Every morning I'm frightened as I stare at the red ball of the rising sun. Why? Because I know that the sun will transform to the white-orange fireball of the scorching monster sun in the blue cloudless sky. And I also know that the sun will blaze again its severe heat across Extremadura. The heat is oppressive, suffocating, sweltering, and exhausting. It sticks to the skin and makes oven out of the road to Santiago. The sun is vibrant and relentless across the sky, chasing and drying out all your thoughts. I fight with the sun every day, and every day I'm beaten and lose my battle. Will I make it again through the day today?
Today is a day of entering Mérida. It is my 10th day of walking from Sevilla, and I walked already, I guess, 210 kilometers. I'm excited to be in this town because it is very well known for the Roman relics. Good.
Yeah, okay.
There is the reporter from the New York Times. Are you doing research for the New York Times?
And Allgemeine Zeitung.
Allgemeine Zeitung.
Hey, I am entering Mérida, walking through the Puente Romano. A bridge over the Guadiana River is still used by pedestrians. This bridge is the longest of all existing Roman bridges. It has the overall length of 755 meters and has 62 spans. Mérida was founded in 25 BC with the name of Emerita Augusta. It means the veterans of the army of Emperor Augustus who founded the city. Emerita Augusta was one of the most important cities in the Roman Empire. The Roman amphitheater dates back 228 BC. This building was intended for gladiatorial and wild animals fights. The stands had a capacity of 15,000 spectators. The amphitheater had an elliptical shape and had a size of 126 by 102 meters. The fight usually took place in the afternoon. The sand-covered arena in the center had a large pit which was covered with wood and sand for the games to take place. This pit was used to keep animals before they were released into the arena. The sitting section was always reserved for the local elite. The large concrete blocks were used as seats in the middle and upper stands. You may notice the inscription in the remembrance of the amphitheater construction: August, Pontiff, Maxim, Tribunic, Potaste, and Roman numeral 16. It refers to the Emperor Augustus and his titles. The Romans used concrete to build the core of the amphitheater, as this kind of material made it very strong. They used lime, pebbles, and river sand, as well as small rocks. The Roman theater was constructed in the years 16 to 15 BC. The theater was a highly important building in any Roman city. It provided a stage for a theatrical performance, and it was also a common place for town council meetings. The diameter of the theater is about 86 meters. 6,000 people could sit in 3 sections. These sections housed the different Roman social classes who lived in the city. 6 doors at the top give access to a corridor covered by a semicircular dome that serves as the entry and exit. In total, 13 outside doors facilitate access and entrance to the theater. This semicircular space is the orchestra, intended for the chorus. The downstage setting is the most spectacular feature of the theater. It is 7.5 meters wide, 63 meters long, and 17.5 meters high. In the center, there is an impressive stage decorated by Corinthian columns. Sculptures of the imperial family members were placed in the lower part of the columns, whereas sculptures of gods were always placed in the upper part of the columns. Outside the theater you can find some Roman mansions dated back to 3rd and 4th centuries. You can also see some paintings and mosaics representing goddess Venus with Eros. Other rooms as thermal baths and garden are really interesting too. The Roman circus was used for chariot racing. It was modeled on other circus buildings throughout the empire. Take note of the central barrier which divides the circus arena. The circus was constructed in the 1st century AD. This structure is 433 meters long and 114 meters wide, and it could house up to 30,000 spectators. The circus in the Roman world was a building full of symbolism. The power of the emperor and the universe were represented in the elements of this circus. For example, the arena symbolized the earth, and its shape represented a full year. 4 teams of riders taking part in the race symbolized the 4 seasons of the year. The 7 laps of each race symbolized the 7 days of the week, and usually 24 races were carried out, equaling 1 day. The pool in the central barrier, which divides the circus arena, symbolized the ocean. The Temple of Diana in Merida was a sacred site constructed by the Romans in the early century AD, after the conquest of the area by the Emperor Augustus. The Mitreus house, the former Roman residence, is a very interesting mansion with marvelous paintings and mosaics, so-called cosmological mosaics. The Alcazaba, or the fortified castle, was built by Arab rulers in the year 835. It housed about 2,000 soldiers. If you want to see the Roman Empire artifacts, or you are interested in the Roman Empire history, you should be in Merida. Merida is a capital of the region Extremadura I'm passing through, and I was in Merida yesterday, and I took additional 1 day to stay and see those Roman ruins, artifacts, history. It always impresses me, and I am amazed how Roman engineers were so good to build such monumental buildings and structures that exist today after 2,000 years in absolutely perfect conditions. For example, the Romano Bridge is still used today by pedestrians. The Romano Theater is still today used for major artistic events. It still provides function of theater for modern today's society. 2,000 years later, it has been designed and built with no computers, with no simulations, whatever. I'm really impressed. For many hottest days, there is no wind, not even lightest breeze. Since noontime, there is complete silence. Walking, I see no men, no animals, no birds, no butterflies, and no buzz of flying insects, bees, or grasshoppers, because they refused to venture forth in this sunburned land. In fact, the only thing in nature that moves is the sun, cruel and metallic as it inches its way across that indifferent sky. Well, this is like walking at 45 centigrade, hot, scorching, blasting sun. It is not easy, but I have to keep going. Today is June 9th and I walked from Alcoescar to Val de Salor, 26 kilometers. At the end of my walk, there was very hot, temperature reaching to 50 degrees. The landscape was like a Spanish savanna, dry grass, no trees, no bushes to take shade. My umbrella was quite useful at that time. But essential thing is to have enough water. If you don't predict temperature and your effort and sweating without water, that could be very tough, even dangerous. I carried 3 liters of water. That's heavy stuff in my backpack. But the following days, temperature may increase probably to 50 degrees and my distances will increase, walking 32-35 kilometers, and without 4 liters of water I will not even put any step to my next etapas. Cáceres, very spectacular town, loaded with Spanish history, and was founded by the Romans in 25th BC. Overlooking the Plaza Mayor is the 18th century San Francisco Javier Church with the Baroque style. The city is truly extraordinary. Old town is set up on the hill and surrounded by the defensive wall raised by the Arab rulers in the medieval time. Narrow cobbled streets twist and climb among ancient stone walls lined with many splendid Renaissance palaces, mansions, arches, and churches. Cáceres has survived almost intact from its 16th century period of splendor. When the crowds have gone, you will feel like you have stepped back into the Middle Ages. You feel like being in the right place to make a movie about the medieval time. Late afternoon, when air temperature cooled down, I observed the triathlon on the Plaza Mayor, which was arranged as the transitional area for athletes changing their bikes to running shoes.
You passing Senti Ponce, Romano Italica, Zafra, Cáceres. You knew that temperature will be high around 40s, but you didn't know that this region of Andalusia and Extremadura and Castilla y León will be hit by the heat wave. Extremely dangerously high temperatures, probably not seen for 70 years in these regions. And temperatures go 45 and one day even 52. But you walk. Sometimes you grab the bottle of water and there is a little water at the bottom, or sometimes nothing. Your lips are cracked and bleeding. But there is no way, you have to keep walking. When you start your walk, you knew what is a pilgrimage. You knew that pilgrimage is the journey of a pilgrim to a holy place. Not simple, but it is not maybe the pilgrimage, maybe it is something else. Today is June 13, Tuesday, and
I'm walking from Carniaval to Galisteo. I have only 9 kilometers to Galisteo, and I decided to talk a little bit about what happened in the previous days, since I didn't talk much. Yesterday was the worst day of my walking from Caçar de Cáceres to Carniaveral. It was 38 kilometers and the temperature reaching 52 degrees. It was absolutely nightmare to walk at that temperature. It took me 11 hours to get to the albergue. The sun was relentless. No trees at all, and just a little bushes, and I couldn't even lay down to get any shade. Walking was very tough. The scenery reminded me Escalante Park in Utah. It was just a desert. And again, I'm walking alone since 2 weeks or more than 2 weeks. I know that someone is in front of me because I see fresh footprints, but no one wants to walk in these extremely high temperatures in Extremadura. June, July, and August is toughest to walk. It's more difficult to walk Via de la Plata in that time than Camino de Frances. Still, I have 4 days to walk close to 30 kilometers every day, because there is no way to get albergue, food, or water resupply, so you have to walk with everything in your backpack. Very friendly Carcaboso is behind me, and you can see that this northern part of Extremadura is more green, and there is more water. You can hear those streams flowing down the hills. Venta Quemada. I got to this place. This place has special meaning to me. I'm so excited to be here. Why? Because when I was preparing my journey to Santiago and I studied Via de la Plata, I found this mysterious place, one of the waymarks to Santiago. This place is mysterious because it is located somewhere nobody knows about it. It is in the middle of Spain on the west side of the country. And this place, no people know about it, but the Via Plata Peregrinos from this point is 6 kilometers to Carpara and 23 kilometers to Galistea I left this morning, and 400 kilometers to Sevilla. It took me 19 days to get here. I will divert from this point. I will not walk to Carpara today. I will go to Oliva de Plasencia, where I will be staying tonight, and I will take a rest. Yesterday I had perhaps Camino fatigue, I had no motivation
no energy, no happiness of walking anymore. It happened when I walked from Oliva de Plasencia to Aldanueve. I barely get there, 27 kilometers, even though the walking was quite easy. So walking from Aldanueve to Calzada de Bejar, I was thinking to skip this walk, take a day rest off, or stay in Baño. 12 kilometers only, because I didn't feel that I would be able to walk. But I took a good rest, good sleep, and I have started today 5 a.m. and walked 10 kilometers on the asphalt road, and after that on trail last 11 kilometers. And I feel so good, energized, motivated, and the most importantly, I crossed a border from Extremadura to Castilla y León, and you see everything happens green. Trees, leaves, grass, pasture is green. So I walked last 10 kilometers in the shade, quite pleasing, and I was so happy. And I call this day the best day of walking since Sevilla. A lot of energy, motivation, happiness, and joy. And there is only 4 kilometers to Calzada, and I will be there very soon. And day is good.
Why I rise every day and continue my journey to Santiago despite relentless monster sun presence? Why I go on to face another defeat and once more retrench myself? Will I be able to win the battle with the monster sun? Sometimes I sense that I am either Don Quixote or a madman traveling across Spain, not on the horse but on the foot, and fighting an imaginary enemy. Is my fight with the sun an insane idea as Don Quixote's fight with giants when he attacks windmills?
Today is June 18th, and I am on the way from Sevilla to Santiago for 23 days. I'm passing right now the Pico de Dueña, 1154 meters with the windmills on the top, and I am on the way from Fuenteroble to San Pedro de Rosados. It is 30 kilometers walk with no pueblos on the way, no water, no food. So you have to pack your backpack carefully with all water needed and food, and leave quite early to avoid the scorching sun on the way. I have in my backpack 4 liters of water, some food, and I'm on this Pico right now, which is half the way to my destination point today, to Rosados. I woke up today 4:30 and was on my way since 15 to 5 morning. It's not easy to walk in the night, but I was able to do it, and I'm glad I'm here. Let's keep going.
Hasta luego.
Hey, did I mention I have only 1 day and a half to Salamanca?
Walking today 29 kilometers, I am entering San Pedro de Rosados. It is very, very hot this afternoon, 46 degrees. I hope to have freezing cold beer in a bar, of course, if it is still open. Tomorrow, Salamanca, and halfway to Santiago. Walking to Salamanca, I sensed that during my solitary walk and my pilgrimage to Santiago, God stands beside me. I didn't get lost on my way, I didn't get heat exhaustion, and I was given a clear message that I have a serious health problem and I will need immediate attention once I will be back home. I am very fortunate. Yes, this is Salamanca. From this point, I see two cathedral towers. Simply, I can't believe that I am here. I am taking a rest right now before entering Salamanca, and I would like to share a few observations after walking 24 days to get here. When I stopped at the little hill and I've seen Salamanca, I've been emotionally moved. A tear started to form in my eye. Why? Because I'm here. I was able to walk foot by foot with no bus, no taxi, regardless of extremely high temperatures. It was really amazing that I was able to do it. Temperatures were constantly 40 and few degrees, and I remember at least 7 days with temperatures over 45, 46 degrees. And one day was really extremely critical because I almost got a heat exhaustion. But today is a beautiful day, it's blessing day. Cloudy day, no sun, and temperature around 35, which I feel like almost a cool day. Well, I will take day rest in Salamanca. We'll look different, interesting sights. Hey, I'm entering Salamanca, and right now I'm walking through the Roman bridge over the Tormes River, which was built in 89 AD. This bridge was an important part of the Roman road, known as the Via della Plata. Camino arrows lead me now to two cathedrals, which towers I could see before I entered Salamanca. The old cathedral is of the 12th century and is Romanesque style, whereas the new cathedral, much larger, built in the 16th century, is Gothic style. Those two cathedrals are absolutely astounding, with breathtaking reliefs and sculptures decorating walls outdoor and indoor. I could sit for hours and stare and admire medieval arts. Casa de los Conchas from the 15th century is decorated with more than 300 shells, symbol of the pilgrims walking the way of St. James. Its entrance door has the coat of arms of the Catholic monarchs. Today, it houses the Salamanca Public Library. Walking with local crowd down the Calle Rua Mayor toward the Plaza Mayor, you quickly notice that Salamanca is home to a massive Spanish and international student population that floods the streets at night and provides the city with so much energy. The plaza of Baroque style with its galleries and arcades is particularly impressive. It is located in the center of Salamanca and is used as a popular gathering area. It is lined with many restaurants and tourist shops. The plaza has 6 entrances leading to different streets and features a clock tower. The surrounding plaza's building walls have 3 floors. 88 arches are raised and decorated with medallions. The plaza has also 247 balconies, which now belong to private residents. At night, where everyone seems to be at 10 p.m. having dinner, the exceptional Plaza Mayor becomes the magnificently illuminated square. Oh, in Salamanca there is the oldest and one of the best universities in Spain, which was founded in 1218, and it is one of the oldest universities in the world. Obviously, Salamanca is also the right place where you can taste delicious jamón ibérico, or Iberian ham. Some other day I have mentioned that Don Quixote was a delusional and heroic man who fought against all odds and remained faithful to his noble goals. But unfortunately, his fights usually did not end up the way he had expected. Will my fights be victorious? Will I succeed in entering the Santiago de Compostela Cathedral? Or will I follow in Don Quixote's footsteps? I don't know yet. Perhaps I am madman walking in the summer through Extremadura, and I am as delusional and heroic man as Don Quixote. The only distinction is that I do not walk with Sancho Panza as my walking companion. In fact, I walk with myself to a sacred place where God made himself known to others. This is my albergue in Villanueva de Campean. Now I am entering my albergue, and on the left side there is a little kitchen so Pellegrino can make his own food, and in front there is a room with 10 beds, and I sleep in albergue with 10 beds, but I sleep alone. And this is my bed, my backpack, and that's where I stay today. In this comfortable environment in albergue, I would like to talk about my water management, drinking water management. Initially, I made few bad mistakes, and one very critical, and finally, I figured out how much water to take with me walking June, July, high temperatures, very often reaching 40 degrees and more. So far, I'm waking up and leaving albergue at 5 or 5:15 at the morning. It is total night outside. During my packing and preparation for my walk, I drink 3/4 liter of water before I leave albergue. And what I do right now, and it works quite well for me, I take with me 2 liters of water for a walk of 20 kilometers. When I walk more than 20 to 25, I have 3 bottles. 3 liters of water, 3 bottles. And when I walk more than 25, I take with me 4 liters of water, 4 kilograms in my backpack. I can feel it. It is very important to have enough water. Otherwise, it could be dangerous. There is no way, in most cases, there is no way to resupply water, so you have to have from point A to point B. But I still like to have water. Water is critical and essential, more than food. Zamora lies on a rocky hill along the Duero River and is called a city of Romanesque. Why? Because there are 24 Romanesque churches of the 12th and 13th centuries. The impressive Romanesque Cathedral of Zamora was built in the 12th century. Interestingly, it took only 23 years to build. Inside the cathedral, marvel the iron screen of the main altar and the fresco of Saint Christopher. In one of the chapel, appreciate the craftsmanship of the altar, which is made of solid silver. The Cathedral Museum has defined one of the best European Flemish tapestries from the 15th century. Size of each tapestry is 9 meters wide and 4 meters high. Very intricate design. They are sensational in color and vibrancy. The color is extremely vivid, like they were made today, but they are 500 years old. It really was breathtaking to look on it. On my way to Plaza Mayor, through narrow cobbled streets, I could admire a fine set of Romanesque churches, Gothic arches, doorways decorated with plant motifs and the reliefs, and buildings of Renaissance design. They are some of the jewels that I encountered in this lovely walk. Late afternoon, I observed music and dances of Castilla y León performed by small children and teenagers. I left Zamora today walking 19 kilometers to Monta Marta. First time on Via de la Plata, all day was cloudy and chilly. Temperature were not exceeding 20 degrees. That's very, very strange and very amazing and very pleasing that finally I'm behind of this alerted high heat weather. I was very happy. Walking was monotonous, by the way. The wheat is harvested and the fields are burned by sun. No trees, in fact, just walking straight Via de la Plata, straight to the horizon. Well, monotonous. It is my first day walking on Camino de Sanabres. I completed my section of Via de la Plata and I am right now perhaps 360 kilometers to Santiago de Compostela. Walking since Zamora, walking is more pleasurable, and today is really marvelous. The temperature is not higher than 20 degrees. I am behind this extremely high temperatures. These heat waves was terrible on the way. But since Zamora, temperature gradually start to drop, and today is even chilly. At night we had a heavy storm and a lot of rain, so walking, even though it's no rain, but the walking was heavy. On the mud, your shoes were weighing pound each other more, and I was a couple inches taller. The more interesting moments where I walked perhaps 1 kilometer, maybe kilometer and a half, was through hiking. When I crossed Rio Esta, when I crossed the bridge, the yellow arrows were indicating go left, sharply to the left, and it was really challenging because your shoes were wet with mud, and climbing rocks was very dangerous. Yeah. As I walked today, one of the passing cyclists greeted me with "Buen camino" and stopped asking me about my walk on this very hot day. He was stunned by my persistent walking from Sevilla, regardless of oppressive heat. And what he said stunned me even more, because probably I am 9th pilgrim he saw riding his bike from Sevilla. Wow! I thought that more pilgrims would follow me. Apparently, sizzling days is the reason why so few pilgrims are on the way to Santiago. Or maybe people don't like a long solitary walk and to be with themselves. Or maybe they don't like a long solitary walk because they are frightened to be alone. They are frightened because they don't want to find out certain things about themselves and how to respond to those uncovered missing things in their life. You are passing Salamanca, Zamora. Your steps are more coordinated and you push forward. And one day, you just sensed somebody is walking with you. And you turn your head to the right and you see yourself is walking with you. And you are surprised. You try to get away from yourself and you accelerate your steps. But yourself is keeping with you. So you slow down and yourself slows down with you. Well, having nothing to choose, you just accept it. You accept it yourself. And you walk together. And after walking half away, you just start to see far away from you, like unwrapping some things. And you see, getting closer, there are some missing things. There are some missing things in you. And you start to be surprised why I miss those things in my life if they are crucial to know them. And you begin to understand you, and you understand those things missing, and you walk. You are more happy, and suddenly you look on yourself and you see yourself is not sad anymore, and his eyes are
happy, his face is happy, even yourself is smiling a little bit. And yourself embraces you, and you embrace yourself, and you walk together for a while, and suddenly you became one, the one. And for a while you were thinking why it happened, and you just discovered that pilgrimage is seeking something missing inside of yourself while walking to a sacred place where God makes himself known to others. And also you find out that pilgrimage is the way of praying with your feet. And that's why you are a happier person. You understand you, and you are the pilgrim. Even though you walk along all the time, barely seeing somebody, mainly in albergue, 2 or 3 persons, and next day again you walk yourself, in albergue is nobody, you feel good. At this point, I walked 36 days from Sevilla. Tomorrow I will be entering Galicia, and today I'm walking from Recuejo to Lubian, and I passed the highest peak on Via de la Plata in Camino Sanabres, 1400 meters. Today is July 1st, my lovely wife name day, so I'm wishing you all the best, a lot of happiness, and a lot of smiles. And you see, there is Santiago. There is perhaps 220 kilometers, and 800 is probably behind me. Not a long walk, 200. I can't believe it. But it is good. It will be good to enter Santiago de Compostela.
As you're heading northwest through Castilla y León, the landscape begins to change from red earth farmlands and yellow dehesas grass to greener hills and woodland and wild flowers. At last you will hear and see streams. You will walk through many typical rural villages, some of them mainly occupied by deserted stone houses and old churches. This portion of the Camino also enters Galicia and runs through beautiful low mountains, making it challenging but offering great views all days long. Cows and sheep can be seen everywhere. After passing the highest point on Via della Plata, 1400 meters Padornello, I am entering Lubian, and this will end my etapa for today. When I was taking footage of another pilgrim and mine with our very long shades, he said in Spanish, "We look alike Don Quixote and Sancho Panza, isn't it?" To the newcomer, the resemblance of our shades and that of the most beloved characters of Spanish literature came so naturally that it was very striking to me. Why? Because Cervantes' characters of Don Quixote and Sancho revive once again on Via de la Plata. As we began to walk, it soon turned out that we both walk from Sevilla. His name is Antonio, and he is the only pilgrim I have met walking as I alone, entire distance on foot. Certainly, we are both madman pilgrims. Yes, we are madman pilgrims. Well, July the 2nd, after 37 days walking from Sevilla, I've got here, Galicia. Galicia, Castilla y León. Finally, 200 kilometers to Santiago, 800 kilometers behind me. I got here. I'm happy. There is no doubt you are in Galicia. The air is moist and rains are frequent. Air temperature drops, and in early morning you walk in the midst of fog, sometimes dense fog. You will be surrounded by green and rolling landscapes, many clear and fast-flowing streams, ferns, and moss that cover trees, rocks, and countless number of stone walls. These stone walls are a legacy of farmers' hopes and dreams and laborers' turmoil, all carefully placed in a geometric structure. You will cross the southwest edge of the Cordillera Cantabrica through isolated villages and roaming cattle. It definitely offers some of the most stunning views, but it may also be quite challenging. Starting in Orense and reaching Santiago de Compostela, you will walk across peaceful forests, including eucalyptus trees, charming hamlets, and rolling hills with outstanding views. This section of the Camino is the rich heritage evidenced in the chapels, crosses, and statues linked to the Camino, and can be seen every day during the walk. I walked from Sevilla basically alone, sleeping in albergues alone. However, for the last week, situation has been changed, because day before crossing the border with Galicia, I stayed in the albergue and another fellow came in, and we've been 2 persons in albergue with 20 beds. And the next day we just moved together, and since that time we walk basically together and have a breakfast and very frequently dinner. He's very sincere and humble man from Almeria in Spain, and his name Juan Antonio. And on the way we have a lot of to talk. However, my Spanish is so primitive and rude, and the grammar is terrible, but he understands me. He understands, and he helps me to be understood. And I'm learning Spanish the same way, and we have a good time coming back with memory, the funny situations, and we smile often. Yeah. So That's good. At least a week before Santiago, we walked together as two companion pilgrims. Orense in Galicia can be discovered walking along the streets which make up the old city. The arcaded main square is the center of the city's social life, festivals, and all kinds of cultural and social events. Near you can explore the old episcopal palace and the Cathedral of San Martino, built between the 12th and 13th centuries. Orense is also a starting point for many pilgrims to walk 100 kilometers to Santiago, as it is required minimum to receive the Compostela, the accreditation of the pilgrimage. But I have noticed that in the summer only a few more pilgrims began their journey to Santiago.
Bueno, hola. Buenos días.
Ahora le voy a abrir por aquí para afuera para que hagan fiesta.
Claro.
No, para que pasen por ahí, además a las madres, pues comen por ahí.
I am perhaps 90 kilometers before Santiago right now, and I am on my way from Orense to Thea. I covered perhaps half of the way, still 10 or 9 kilometers to go. After crossing the border with Galicia, it was really tough climbing 2 mountains up to 1,400 meters, going down and up. And after that was quite flat, easy walking to Orense. And today I had some climbing, 500 altitude change. So it was tough, but that was okay, because weather is quite very friendly right now. In the morning in Galicia there is a fog and no sun. Sun is visible, taking clouds off from the sky about 11 o'clock, so you can walk quite comfortably. And yeah, that's okay. I have quite interesting observations walking from Sevilla up to this point, because many times I came across construction of high-speed train which will run from north to south. And interestingly, I noticed that Roman engineers built Via de la Plata from south to north. And the local authorities in Spain built a local road just next to the Roman road, very often taking Pellegrinos Via della Plata, so we have to walk on the asphalt very often. And perhaps 120 years ago, Spanish authority built a train just next to the Roman road. And perhaps 20 years ago, Spain built modern high-speed highway next to the Roman road. And this high-speed train construction is constructed next to the Roman road. So, what the conclusion? What I see that Roman engineers were absolutely, amazingly intelligent and built the road just in the right spot. Today, with modern technology, satellite images, computerized landscape profiling, everybody is building transportation system just next to the Roman road. Very amazing. Nothing is better to find, just to follow Roman road. They didn't use computers, no satellite images. They were simply smart.
Está ladrando. Uy.
It is beautiful, isn't it? Green. It is Galicia. Galicia is very green, moist, with streams. Well, did I mention yesterday that I slept in 43 beds, that I have seen 43 sunrises? Well, today I'm walking from Sea to Castro d'Ozon through Oceira. where beautiful monastery of Cistercians is placed. Aha. I have in my backpack very healthy liquor made of herbs by monks. I hope this evening I will enjoy it.
Dzień dobry.
Hey, here they are again, Magdalena and Emilio, a very joyful couple from Cordoba. They walk from Orense and we met them in Castro Dozon. We sometimes bump into each other on the road to Santiago.
Che è perfetto, che salga, che salga.
Sì, 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 sì.
Acá sí, el carro. Es una ilusión, ella no lo
Today is my day of entering Santiago de Compostela. How do I feel? I am fulfilled and overwhelmed with emotions, with happiness and joyfulness. Why wouldn't be I, after walking every day from Sevilla to Santiago de Compostela, over 1,000 kilometers. I walked 44 days and I rested 3 days. Therefore, on my way to Santiago de Compostela, I've been a total of 47 days. I walked alone. However, not quite alone. I've been walking with myself, and therefore I was not alone. It was okay. I have seen beautiful nature created by God. I have seen beautiful landscape of Spain. I have seen hamlets, pueblos, villages, small and larger cities rich in Spanish history. I have seen things that have not been seen by tourists visiting Spain. Why? Here it is. Edward Abbey, an American writer, wrote in his preamble in the book Desert Solitaire, and here it is. If you drive a car, you see nothing. When you walk, you see something. When you crawl on your elbows and knees, you see. Maybe not. Yes. I'm very close to Santiago de Compostela. Very close. Perhaps few hours. 6 or 8 kilometers. And it is good. On my first day of walking, when I have started in Sevilla, I mentioned perhaps why I want to walk Via de la Plata and the Camino Senabres. And now, before entering Santiago, I can tell you one more reason. I wanted to complete the way of the cross. When I walked Camino de Frances from the east to the west, I walked along horizontal arm of the cross and walking Via de la Plata and the Camino Senabres from the south to north along the vertical column of the cross. I completed the way of the cross. I completed my way of the cross.
Pero y seguimos, nos paramos, decimos algo. ¿No?
A la altura del coche. Hola, buenos días.
And one day, you are entering Santiago de Compostela. You are standing in front of the St. James Cathedral, and you moved your head up and you see those towers beautifully decorated and adorned with reliefs and sculptures, and you move your head down to the foundation and again up, and you're scanning each intricate detail, and you are standing in complete silence. Silence is surrounding you. And for a while you start to hear muted sounds on the left, on the right, and the sound is coming even stronger, and you look again and you see other people, and they are screaming, they are crying, they are laughing. They are pilgrims too. And finally you just collapsed and sat down on the stones of the plaza, and you look the St. James Cathedral. Time to go home.